Hi, everybody. We are Mike and Brenda Baker, and today we are going to be talking about keeping things in perspective in your marriage.
Okay, so keeping things in perspective in your marriage, what does that mean? It means don't let things get big, all right? So, rule number one on this is small means small, all right? Keep small issues. Just because it irritates you a lot doesn't make it a big issue. It doesn't automatically define it as a big issue. You making a mountain out of a molehill does not constitute huge.
No, not at all. Yeah, and I mean, honestly, that's really all we need to say about that point, because it's so important to keep things in perspective, not make a bigger deal out of things that are no big deal.
Yeah, that's all we need to say.
Yeah.
So number two, do you deal? All right, now what do I mean by that? Do you release all at once, or do you deal with it now? All right, and what do I mean by that? I mean, do you hold, and then blam! You release everything, or do you deal with it as it comes? See, things typically get too big. Like I said, small means small. Small things get big because you continue to stuff all those small things one on top of another, and you build a mountain, okay? Mm-hmm. So you took something that was very small and you stacked it on top of something else that was small, on top of something else that was small. And by the time you get to your boiling point, all right, you're upset with your spouse about everything, not just this one thing anymore, when really you should have dealt with that one thing right then. Because I'll tell you what, there are times, I think, when it's better for us to say something and maybe stick our foot in our mouths than to let it continue to build and then blow up.
And that's definitely something that used to be a really big problem for me, is I would stuff things, and then I would get to the boiling point and I would blow up like a balloon, in the fact that I would yell at him, or I'd, say something nasty to one of the kids. That was dumb. Why did I do that? I don't know. It's because probably that I didn't ever learn really how to communicate very well. And so instead of communicating, I would just hold everything in. A lot of my issue stemmed from feeling like I was weak if I had to tell anybody anything that they were doing that was upsetting me. I really, really believe that that's where my biggest issue was. So if you have had some trouble in your remarriage, start working on your communication so that your kids can see positive communication and what that looks like.
It's also good for your kids to see that you're trying to improve yourself. Yeah. It's good that they see that you're trying to be a better adult, a better human, a better, if you go to church, a better churchgoer, or a better spouse, a better friend, it's okay. It's that, I've often said your kids are who you are, not who you want them to be. You want your kids to be these people, but then you won't live that way. Well, Les Brown talks about being your best today.
Yeah.
Who is it you want to be tomorrow? Be that person today. And so for your kids, it's vital, absolutely vital. So when you deal, don't let it build up. Deal with it right away.
Exactly.
So that brings us to number 3, which is going to definitely pertain to your remarriage, your blended family.
Yeah.
Does your ex divide you, or should I say, do you let your ex divide you? Because division is a choice, all right? When you decide to divide, you are deciding that your view is more important or more factual than the other one. Now, this is where small and large really makes a difference. Mm-hmm. You must keep small things small, because something small should never divide you. Because the only time something small would divide you is if there were a larger principle involved. And in that case, it's still something large, it's not small. Hopefully that makes sense. So your ex, allowing your ex to divide you is your choice.
You divorced that person on purpose. It's time to let them have their thing, and you and your spouse, your new spouse, can have your thing. And don't let them come in between you. There was a situation with Mike's ex at one point when I was baking a birthday cake for one of our kids that we share. And there was a snide comment that she made, and Mike was young. He didn't on purpose try to hurt me, but he kind of backed up what she had said. that did not work out so well. And it became one of the biggest fights we had ever had. All because some, what was small, I made this big, huge thing. And so that's kind of a good example of what we're talking about here. Do not ever let that ex come in between you, not through the kids, not screaming at you on the phone because they don't like something that your spouse has done with the kids or whatever. Do not allow that to happen.
So, when we say, does the ex divide you, we're not just talking about your ex. You could be just as guilty of letting your spouse's ex divide you.
Yeah.
I don't like how you deal with her, or I don't like how you deal with him.
That's a good point.
Okay? It doesn't matter, all right? It's hard enough to deal with your ex as it is. Having your spouse in your ear about how you're dealing with your ex only puts you in front of your ex more, because now not only do you have to deal with your ex when your ex is standing there, now you have to deal with your ex through your spouse. So, you really got to remember that you may not agree with how your spouse is doing things, but if you're not going to talk to them about it, and I said talk to them, not yell at them, not scream at them, not critique them, not fix them, talk to them. Hey, I don't understand why you do this. Can you help me understand that? Or I'm not sure I get what your intention here is, and I want to. What I see you do this, is that what's actually happening? Don't be afraid to ask questions, but don't ask them pointedly, because at that point, it's hard enough dealing with an ex. Now you got a spouse asking you questions, and your guard goes phew, right here. So be careful about how you word those things, but don't be afraid to ask at the same time. That is seeking common ground, not causing division.
Right, and so your tone matters a lot in how you ask questions.
Yes, tone does matter.
So, like we said, don't let your ex divide you. Don't let the stepkids divide you. Don't let the kids divide you, because they try. Even natural kids, they try sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
That's it.
You good? All right, so that's all we have today. We hope that this video helped you. We'd love it if you would make a comment if it did help you, and tell us why. If you have a suggestion about another video that you really are interested in the topic, just put that down below and we will get to it as soon as we can. Thanks so much for taking your time to be with us here today. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.